Hi guys, it's Candy here. Back with gratitude again for day 6. Yesterday I pulled this card, the Guardian of Wands, which is an image depicting the archangel Raphael, who is a healer. So he's associated with healing, and he is the angel, the guardian angel of travellers. It's a card that when it appears encourages you to have confidence in travelling and meeting new friends. But because he's a Christian figure, it made me sit and dwell on past experiences, and it kept bringing me back to one experience, which is the most amazing experience I've ever had with a male type God type energy. I've kind of felt more led by the goddess, but there was this one type of memory that I want to share with you involves this. Now this is probably one of the most precious things I own. It's a shell, it's a real shell, and there is a incredible story attached to it. Now, when I was married and I didn't even have Busby, my lad, then I only had the 2 girls. In those early days of motherhood, we bought a trailer tent, a big tent, and we used to go every year to Shell Island, which is a huge campsite across loads of fields in Wales, all backing onto the ocean. And we would go there every year for a week to go camping in our trailer tent. Now, Tilly was only young. Tilly's my eldest daughter, and she's got Smith-Magenis syndrome. So she has lots of sensory challenges. There's loads of additional needs in her spectacular frame that she is. So it's always quite challenging, as camping is anyway with any kids, but there are additional challenges in there. One of the challenges being Tilly's extreme sensory aversion, so namely textures, sudden touch. Hello, Luna. It's okay, my dog's come to see me. Sensory issues, loud noises. So initially the beach for Tilly was a huge problem. You'd got the wind, you'd got the sand, you'd got the different sounds and smells, but she was always every year absolutely desperate to go down to the beach, just like any kid. But when she got to the beach, overwhelm kind of took over really quickly with her. So it was the second year we tried camping on Shell Island, and we'd got the 2 girls really excited running around, and we decided to attempt the beach again. So I'd got Tilly with me, and as we hit the beach, for the second year running, we got 2 minutes onto the sand and the beach, and Tilly went into a total meltdown. Now, Smith-Magenis meltdown is more than just your typical small child's meltdown. You know, it's quite a horrendous thing. So just like the previous year, I ended up sitting on a rock trying to hold on to her while she went through this huge meltdown, trying to soothe her, trying to keep her safe, trying to stop her self-harming, until it had run its course, which eventually meant her falling asleep because she got so exhausted she fell asleep. And then me just sitting on a rock in the middle of a huge beach, holding my sleeping child, unable to move. And it was the second year in a row this had happened. It was almost the identical rock as well that we got to. So while I sat there in the rain, the pouring rain, my then husband, was off at rock pools with my other daughter looking for things. And the second year this happened, I threw the biggest pity party for myself that I think any mother has ever thrown. I sat on the rock with Tilly asleep in my lap, and after about an hour of just sitting on this rock and all my legs being numb and not being able to move, watching all these happy families all around me, laughing and looking for shells and rock pooling, and seeing my husband and my other child off in the distance, just tiny dots having fun, I've just felt so sorry for myself. And I spiraled with the it shouldn't be like this. This isn't how it's supposed to be. Which, as any parent of a child with additional needs knows, that's a very fast spiral that can drag you down really, really quickly. So anyway, I was sat on this rock throwing the biggest pity party ever. This isn't how it's supposed to be. Look at all these other families. That's just what I want. It's not too much to ask. I just want to be able to walk on a beach and look in a rock pool. I don't want to be sitting on a rock, not being able to join in. I want to go and join my other daughter as well. You know, I'm missing out. I'm the only person in the world that's got these sort of challenges to deal with. It's not fair. You know how it goes. And as I was throwing this huge pity party, sitting on a rock, a audible male voice came in and said, "No, I've given you the best family on the beach." And it was so audible, I jumped and was, with Tilly on my lap, was turning around trying to work out who was sitting behind me to have said it. Completely not my own imaginings. It was a separate voice out here somewhere. So I did the only thing that you do in those situations. After checking my own imagination and thinking, no, definitely not me, I had a chat with it. So in my head I said, well, no, because I want to be doing what those families are doing. How can you say that? And the voice immediately came back with, but those families are all looking for shells. I've already given you the best shell on the beach. And I sat there going, well, this is ridiculous. I haven't got a shell. I can't even get up. I can't move off this rock. What do you mean you've given me the best shell on the beach? I have no shell and I've got no chance of finding a shell because I can't move. Now, you have to understand that Shell Island is called Shell Island because there used to be amazing shells there that they used to sell in the shop, but now it's just like an ordinary beach with tiny little shells and broken shells and pebbles and gravel and, you know, whatever. So it's not a beach that's covered in amazing shells, it's just an ordinary beach. But anyway, I was having this conversation about, you know, I don't have a shell. And every time I said that, the voice came back, no, I have given you the best shell on the beach, just like you've got one of the best families on this beach. You're just not looking for it. You're not looking properly. So I thought, oh, okay, I'll look for it then. So I'd got my camera, my Nikon camera, my big camera, round my neck. So I'd still got my sleeping Tilly here. And with my big camera, I started zooming in and out, looking as far as I could see it. First of all, I played in the rock pool my feet were in and like moved stones and sand with my feet. Thought, no shells there. And then started looking in rock pools. And I thought, no, this is ridiculous. There's no shell. So I thought it must have been my imagination and went back to pity party. This isn't fair. And now I'm going mad. I'm hearing voices. It's probably because I never get to sleep. The pity party kicked in. And again, the voice came back. No, I have given you the best shell on the beach, but you're not looking properly. I never, ever tell this story without crying. Ever. I've never done it. Hang on. Whew. Honestly, this will be the second time I've cried on YouTube. This is ridiculous. Anyway, let me see if I can do this without crying. Okay. So the voice came back. No, you're just not looking properly. You're not looking like I need you to look. You're looking for normal. And that's how you look at your family. You keep looking at your family expecting to see normal, and I haven't given you normal. Just like you're looking for the shell, and you're never going to find the shell by looking for normal. So if you start looking for the shell without looking for normal, you'll find it, and that's how you need to look at your family. So now I'm totally bemused. I'm sat on grey rocks, surrounded by a whole beach of grey rocks and rock pools and no shell in sight, and still my sleeping child on my lap, and my legs by this point have gone completely numb. I'm numb from the waist down. So I got my camera back out. Thought, okay, don't look for normal. I'm going to find this shell if it kills me. So I started looking through the viewfinder again. Grey rocks, grey rocks, grey rocks, grey rocks, rock pools, happy families, go away. Nothing. Throw a pity party again. This is madness. It's not the best family on the beach. This is the most challenging family on the beach. I can't even feel my legs anymore. And again, the voice came back. No, stop looking for normal. Stop comparing yourself to the other families. And the voice said specifically, all these families around you are looking for amazing shells and none of them are going to find them. But you, I'm giving you directly the best shell on the whole beach, but you have to look for it like I'm asking you to look at your family. Don't ever look for normal, because that's not what you've been given, but it's still amazing. So at this point, the voice had come back to me so many times. I knew I was dealing with something incredible. So I picked my camera up and thought, okay, I'm going to obliterate the beach now, and I'm just going to look for something that isn't normal. So I started going through each rock pool that I could see through my viewfinder and zooming in through my camera lens. And about 5 rock pools away, through my the lens of my camera zoomed in, I was looking at this one rock pool, and I suddenly noticed in amongst all these grey rocks, one rock had a bright line, a very thin bright line of yellow that went like this and up like that and like that. I thought, oh, a bright line of yellow. Now that's quite unusual. That's not normal. Carried on looking, nothing at all, nothing at all. So it was just that one bright line of yellow that I'd spotted. And I thought, okay, well, I don't know what that means. It's still not a shell, but that's the only thing I can see. At which point my then husband was coming up the beach with my daughter. I think we did have Busby, actually. I think Busby was in his backpack. Busby had just been born and was in a backpack on his back. And Poppy came back all excited, showing me all her hermit crabs and different things that she'd found down at the sea line, all in her little bucket. So we looked at that. At which point Tilly woke up and was keen to look in the bucket, and she'd calmed down. And then my ex-husband said, oh, let's go back to the tent then and have lunch. And everybody stood up to go. And before we left, I said to him, just hang on a minute, just hold Tilly's hand. I just want to go and check something. So he was very bemused and watched me wander off 4 rock pools away to the rock that I'd seen with the yellow line. Now, when I got there, I realised that where the bright yellow line did that bit where there was like seaweed was actually a hole in the rock. There was a circular hole behind the seaweed, hand-sized. So I thought, well, there's nothing here. I looked in the rock pool, there was nothing there. So I thought, well, I'm going to see what's in that hole. So putting your hand inside a hole that you can't see in a rock by rock pool was a bit daunting, but it had been such an amazing experience with the voice, I had to follow it through. So I very carefully slid my hand into the hole in the rock, and as I did, there was like, it was like suction, like a noise as well, like suction. And as I put my hand in, I hadn't touched anything. It was just in midair inside this rock, and the shell fell into my palm. Completely unbroken. I didn't touch anything. I didn't scrape at the rock. I didn't pull any stones away. I literally just put my hand into the void, felt a suction of air, and felt this land into my palm. As the minute I felt it land, I felt the shape of it. I knew what it was before I'd even brought my hand back out. I wonder if I ever will be able to tell this story without crying. Probably not, but you know. Yeah, so I knew that it was a shell before I even brought my hand back out. And when I did and saw this, I was just so amazed. I immediately burst into tears with feet straddling rocks in a rock pool. Literally boo-hooed like a baby out loud. So all those families that I'd previously been envious of all stopped and were staring at me as if to say, what's wrong with the crazy woman over there? My husband looked over in complete, like, what on earth is wrong with you? And I just held this up in the air and yelled, God gave me a shell. At which point the whole beach emptied and everybody thought I'd gone mad. But yeah, and from that point on, I pull myself up when I feel that spiral of, oh, this isn't how it should have been, when the challenges kick in, which they do. I mean, they do anyway. As parenting, any child brings its challenges, but there are additional extra ones that aren't normal. Oh, look, I've got tears coming down my face. That aren't normal when you're parenting a child with additional needs. But whenever I fall into that spiral, which is horrific to fall into, I just think of my shell and go, no, you're expecting normal. You don't get normal. Remember, don't look at it like that. Think of the shell. So when I read the description of this and realised that this was a healing, protecting guide for travellers, I thought of my time when I travelled to this beach and had a male god energy come in. What that energy is, I don't know. A guide, the god, a god, God himself, whatever you want to call it, the universe, the higher source energy, but that energy that is inexplicable. It actually had a conversation with me that day on the beach and gave me a shell, and that's what this card reminded me of. And this now has been framed all these years now, and it is on the wall in my lounge. So I'm incredibly grateful for a shell from God. So that's my day 6. That's quite a big one, isn't it? A shell from God. Okay. Now, in amongst my incredibly messy desk, oh my gosh, I'm glad you can't see the desk at the minute in front of me. It's absolutely rammed with stuff. Let me get the cards. So, I'm going to pull. Tomorrow is going to be the last day because I plan to do just 7 days of this gratitude challenge. And I've loved it. So, this is going to be the last card. It's from this deck, the Inner Child cards, Fairy Tale Tarot. If you're still doing the challenge, then just keep, and you want to share with me, then just keep commenting and tell me what cards you're drawing, because I'm loving that. Even if I've stopped doing it, just if you want to share, then I'm an ear, because I'm really interested to find out what you're doing. So let's give these a shuffle again for the last card. So thank you again, Jen, for this fantastic tag. It's been so much fun doing it. I'm leaving links to all of Jen's original videos at the bottom of all of these videos so that you can go and find her if you haven't already found her. She's wonderful. Oh. And the final card for the gratitude week for tomorrow is the Two of Hearts. So I'll go and dry my tears now and I'll get back to you on this card tomorrow. Bye, guys.